Okay, we're going to start the notes today by going over the warm-up after 1.4, and that's located at on page 24 of your notes. So you're going to follow along, and you're going to fill in your notes as we go. So this is the problem. It says a sculpture. In the sculpture shown in the photograph, suppose the measure of angle LMN. So LMN. So that's this entire angle. That angle is 79 degrees. And the measure of angle PMN, so PMN is this angle right here, and that angle is 47 degrees. What is the measure of angle LMP? So LMP is this question mark. So if you know the big angle is 79 degrees, take away 47 degrees, and over here you can do that math. 9 minus 7 is 2. What am I doing? Let me do that again. I'm going to lose my mind here. Okay, let me write that better. Okay, 9 minus 7 is 2. 7 minus 4 is 3. So that's going to make angle LMP equal to 32 degrees. Okay, so it's just an angle addition problem. The big angle equals the sum of the smaller angles. And the big angle was this angle right here. So that was the 79. And the 47 was this angle right here. So they wanted us to find this angle right here. And that's the 32. Okay? Okay, let's read the next one. Here you have a map. And the map shows the intersection of 3 roads. Malcolm Way. So I see Malcolm Way. It's right here, right? Malcolm Way intersects Sydney Street. Here's Sydney Street at an angle of 162. So when they intersect each other, that's at an angle of 162. So this angle right here is 162 degrees. Park Road intersects Sydney Road at an angle of 87. So that means this little angle right here is 87 degrees. Find the angle at which Malcolm Way intersects Park Road. Same idea. Here's the big angle. That's 162. This is 87. This is question mark. But this big boy is 162. So you should be thinking ahead and saying, okay, I'm going to do a subtraction and I'll get it. So you're going to borrow this time. 12 minus 7 is 5. This became a 5. I have to borrow there. And 15 minus 8 is 7. So the missing angle, which was right in here, was 75 degrees. So we would say that, should we call it something? We're just going to say that this missing angle. So this angle right here equals 75 degrees. Okay, we're going to continue our study of angles in this next section. And I said this is a very important page because you see these words all the time. Okay, so the first word is complementary. So complementary is 2 angles whose sum is 90 degrees. Now, angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 90. So they are complementary. They are also next to each other. That's not a requirement. So you can have this angle right here, and we'll call this angle 3. And I'm going to say angle 3 equals 70 degrees. And you can have another little angle, and we'll call that angle 4. And I'm going to say that angle 4 equals 20 degrees. They're not next to each other, yet these angles are also complementary. Okay? Okay, another word, supplementary. Supplementary means the angles sum to 180 degrees. So this is 180 degrees. So here are two angles, 5 and 6. They're on a straight line. So angle 5 plus angle 6 will equal 180 degrees. Just like complementary angles, supplementary don't have to be on the same, they don't have to be adjacent. What if this angle was 140 degrees plus this angle, which is 40 degrees? They also equal 180 degrees, so they are supplementary. When you think supplementary, think straight line, and straight lines equal 180 degrees. Okay? Now, these are adjacent angles. Adjacent angles are next to each other. They're kind of like townhouses. They share a common spot, a common point, shall I say, and they also share a common side. Okay, so we'll write that in. Angles that share a common, that point that I just pointed out is a vertex, and a side, but have no common interior points. That means they don't overlap. So these pink dots I just wrote in indicate a vertex. And more than one vertex are called vertices. Okay, so they have to be next door to each other. So these are like townhouses. You know how townhouses share a common wall? They are adjacent. Okay, just like these angles are adjacent. All right, so give yourself a little sketch so you have a visualization as to what that means, and it'll help you retain it. Okay, linear pairs. They have to be adjacent, but these are special adjacent angles. So they're special adjacent angles. Okay, adjacent angles with non-common sides as opposite rays. Well, what does that mean? So this is the common side. These are non-common. And look, aren't they going opposite directions? So those are the opposite rays. So this is what they're speaking about. Those are adjacent. They are a linear pair. They are on a line. And guess what happens? They sum, so this symbol means sum, to 180 degrees. Okay, next thing, vertical angles, hugely important. By definition, vertical angles are angles with sides that form opposite rays. So let's think about this. Here is a ray, right here. Okay, this green is a ray. What is its opposite ray? Well, I'm going to go green again to go opposite. That's the green's opposite ray. So you've got the ray. Let me put a little dot in between. So I'm going to put this little dot for the vertex. So those two rays are opposite. Find two other rays that are opposite. Well, this ray right here is opposite this ray. So angles that are formed by opposite rays, such as angle 6 and angle 3, are vertical. Angle 6 and angle 3 are vertical. And really, really important, because they're vertical, angle 6 is congruent to angle 3. They have the same measure. All right, when you do this, you have a second pair of vertical angles. That is angle 4. I'm going to put two hash marks like this. That's going to be congruent to angle 5 because angle 4 and angle 5 are congruent. If they're congruent, that means that angle 4 is, excuse me, I should change that. They are, so change this, they are vertical angles, And because they are vertical angles, that makes them congruent, okay? I'll put my little angle symbol there. Okay, so this page, as I said right here, is very important. This vocab is huge. You have to know this vocab. It gets used over and over again. So in terms of vocab, this is probably one of the most important pages we will ever go through in our notes. Okay, so I'm not trying to undersell that. I want you to really understand that those vocab words are important. If you have to go back and read them again or look in the textbook because you have access to the textbook, you can go do that and really solidify this section. So this is 1.5. Okay, let's work through some of these examples. Identify complements and supplements. In the figure, name a pair of complementary angles. Remember, they sum to 90. So, angle CAR and angle RST sum to 90 because 32 plus 58 is 90. So there are your complementary angles. As opposed to supplementary angles, which sum to 180, and angle CAD and angle RST sum to 180. So those two angles are supplementary. They don't have to be adjacent, remember. They just have to sum to 180. Now, next they ask you for adjacent angles. Okay, so that's different. Adjacent have to share a common side, and they have to share a vertex. So the angles that do that are only angles CAR and angles DAC. They are adjacent. It has nothing to do with the measurement. It just means that they're next door to each other like townhouses. Okay, example 2. And again, if I'm going too quickly, stop the video and think about this. Example 2, find measures of complement and supplement. Given that angle 1 is a complement, so if it's a complement, the two angles sum to 90. And if the measure of angle 1 is 68, find measure of angle 2. So you would say 90 minus 68. 2, this is 8. 8 minus 6 is 2. So that's going to be 22 degrees is going to be the measure of angle 2. Okay, angle 3 and angle 4 are supplements. That means they sum to 180. So if you know that angle 4 is 56, you can find the measure of angle 3 by saying 180 minus 56. Again, this is without calculators, so that's why I'm showing you these steps. That's 124 degrees. So the measure of angle 3 equals 124 degrees. And you should always be showing this work, okay? Don't do it in your head. Don't grab the calculator even though I'm not looking. Do it by hand so that you can practice that and develop your math skills, okay? All right, next thing. You have a soccer net. Here are the angles we're talking about. Look at these lines, and you can see that those are on a straight line, and therefore these two angles right here are supplementary. Those are the angles of which they speak. So since they're supplementary, let's make this bigger. I can say that 4x plus 8 plus x plus 2 are going to equal 180 degrees. Don't set them equal. Add them together to get 180. Add your x's together, 4x and a 5x, so I'm adding common terms. 8 and 2 equals 180. Keep your equal signs lined up. Subtract 10, gone. Subtract 10, keep your equal signs lined up. 5x equals 170. So what do I know? I have to figure out what x equals. So I'm going to take my work over here. 5 goes into 170 because I know that I'm going to divide by 5, so I can get x equals something. So 5 goes into 17 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15 with 2 left over. 5 goes into 20 4 times. So x equals 34, but that's not our problem. They want to know what these measurement of the angles are. So let's do that. Okay, so here is angle BCE. It's right here. That's going to be 4x plus 8. So 4 times the x we just found, which was what? 32. We'll put this over here. Whoops, sorry. I'm going to put that over there, and we'll highlight that. Plug in your 32, and then add 8. So let's do the math. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 128 plus 8 is 136. So that angle, BCE, this angle right here is 136 degrees. Let's find ECD. Angle ECD is going to equal x plus 2. So that's going to be 32 plus 2, and that's 34 degrees. So this angle right here is going to be 34 degrees. So let's check our work. If one angle was 136 and the other was 34, do they sum to 180? So let's see. 3, 6, 7. So am I getting the right number? I may have made an error. Let's see if we can figure it out. I think I figured it out. Is this 32? And that's 32. So let me just see what we're doing. So I have so I'm so sorry. This is 34. I've lost my head. So look what I did. And look, I caught the error when I figured out that they didn't sum to what I needed. So this, you should have been yelling at me. This is 34 instead. Okay, so I have to make some arrangements now. But see, I caught my error by doing this math. So let's erase this. And I'm going to erase this. And now let me get this done correctly. So BCE is 4 times 34 plus 8. 4 times 4 is 16, carry the 1. 4 times 3 is 12, and 1 more is 13, plus 8 makes that 144 degrees. So we're going to change this to 144. Okay, so this is 144. So I'm going to change this as well. That is 144. And over here, that's not 32, but it's 34. And 34 plus 2 is 36. Okay, so that means that this second angle is 36. And does that work? 4 and 6 is 10. 0, carry the 1. 4 and 3 is 7, and 1 is 8. Bingo, that works. So I'm just going to change this one last thing to make that 36, and now I know I'm good. Okay, so what I've proven to you is it's really easy to make a mistake. But if you use your answer to plug it back into the original problem and verify what you think you know about the angles being supplementary is true, you will catch your mistake. So don't just finish the problem and say, I hope that all worked out. Really go back, plug in the numbers, it'll give you more practice, and check your answers. Okay, next one, example 4. Identify all of the linear pairs. Linear pair is something very specific. It's 2 angles, because it's a pair, that lie on a line. So look what I can see. I see these 2 angles lie on this line right here. So they are a linear pair. Angle 1 and angle 4. They're a linear pair. Okay, look for a minute. See if you can find 2 other angles. I'm going to erase what I just did so that it doesn't look too cumbersome, and see if you can find the other angles. Okay, hopefully you're looking. I'm looking, and I see these two angles, 4 and 5, lie on this line. Okay, they're right underneath it. So angle 4 and angle 5 are also a linear pair. Okay, so that was 4 and 5. Let me erase this. Okay, now, really super carefully, look for vertical angles. So I'm going to say, this is my vertex right here. Okay, if that's my vertex, I need angles that share that vertex and are made up of opposite rays. So here's a ray right here. Here is its opposite. Here's a ray right here. Here's its opposite. What angles share the green and the blue? Angles 1 and 5, and they're the only vertical angles. So angle 1 and angle 5. And that means angle 1 is congruent to angle 5 because that's the definition of vertical angles. Okay, this next problem is important because they give you the words, but then they give you the sketch. I'm going to ask you to give me a sketch after only giving you the words, and I don't provide the sketch. So let's understand this sketch. This says two angles form a linear pair. Yep, that seems true. There are two angles on a line. So then it says the measure of one angle is 5 times the measure of the other. This is the one. It's 5 times this. Find the measure of each. 5x plus x equals 180. So 6x equals 180. Divide by 6, divide by 6. X equals 30. But we're not done. This angle is 30 degrees. This one is 5 times 30 degrees, which equals 150 degrees. Okay? And that's how that works. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the homework together. So let's read this problem. In the figure, name a pair of complementary angles. So two angles that sum to 180, and I'm thinking it's angle GHI and angle KLJ. So see if you can get that yourself without me having told you. So now find the supplementary angles. You can stop the tape and then find them and then check your work. Okay, I know they have to sum to 180, just like complementary summed to 90. So summing to 180, I have angle GHI and angle KLM. Okay, now they want a pair of adjacent angles. Adjacent are neighbors. They share a common wall and a vertex. So what's adjacent? Think about it. You should be writing JLK and KLM. Use your angle signs. Okay? So we have a couple more and then we'll be all done. Same types of questions, different format. Given that angle 1 is a complement of angle 2 and the measure of angle 1 is 17, find the measure of angle 2. Complement is 90. Just write this every single time so that you get in the habit of having your brain see that. That's going to be 3. That's 8. 8 minus 1 is 7. So if it's 73 degrees, then there'll be complements. So 73 and 17 do indeed sum to 90 degrees. So given that angle 3 is a supplement of angle 4, and I have the measure of angle 4 as 119, stop the video, see if you can figure out what the supplement's going to be. You're going to do some nice math with it. Don't grab your calculator. Do it by hand and see if you are the same thing. I'm getting going to be 61 degrees. Okay, just a couple more. These two roads intersect to form supplementary angles. So that means these are supplementary. Don't set them equal. They didn't say equal, they said supplementary. So that means that they're going to sum up to 180. Add your numbers together. So I have a 14 and a negative 2. That gives me a negative 6. Add your x's together. I have a 6x. So 6x minus 6 equals 180. Add 6, add 6. 6x equals 186. So take your 186 and divide into it 6. 6 goes into 18 3 times. 6 goes into 6 one time. X will equal 31. But we are not done because the question is not what x is. The question is what these angles are. Okay, so let's figure them both out. Over here, I take 4 times 31 and I subtract away 20. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Minus 20 gives me 104. So this first angle, angle WYZ, equals 104 degrees. Now let's do the other one. 2 times 31, I'm just plugging in, plus 14. 2 times 31 is 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 3 is 6, plus 14 equals 4 and 2 are 6, 6 and 1 is 7, 76 degrees. So if angle XYZ, YW is 76 degrees, are these adding up to 180? And they are, so I know I've checked my work. Okay, here come the last two problems. Number 4, identify all angles that are a linear pair. Boom. Angle 1 and angle 2 are a linear pair. What other ones do you see? How about angle 2 and angle 3? Then they ask you for vertical angles. Remember, they have to share opposite rays. Here's a ray. Here's another ray. We'll give it a different color. Back out of that. Here's a ray. Okay, which angles are formed by blue and red rays? And if I erase these things, here and here, they are vertical. Okay, last thing. 2 angles form a linear pair. Okay? Here's your line. The measure of one angle is 3 times the measure of the other angle. So you have to be able to say, this angle is x, this angle is 3x. Find each angle. 180 is going to be their sum, equals 3x plus x. 180 equals 4x, divide by 4, divide by 4. 180 divided by 4, 4 goes into 18 4 times, with 2 left over. 4 goes into 20 5 times. X, therefore, is 45. This angle is 45. 3 times 45 gives me 5, carry the 1, 135. This angle is 135. Check your work. 135 plus 45, that will indeed equal 180. Bingo, we are done. Okay, so this was important because you had to do this setup yourself. Make sure you could do that. All right, so we've got over a lot of the notes. We are done with this chapter now. So your homework I'm going to post, and it's to do the review for 1.4 and 1.5. So when you submit homework, I want you to submit these filled in notes as well. Okay, so I'm looking for the filled in notes that I just gave you and the other assignment. Okay, thank you very much. See you in class.